Hey guys, this is Joe Gomez, and give me back my pro wrestling, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
For those who don't know, now you know, baby. This is Hot Rod Biggs, Jared, Jimmy Street. We're going to take them to the limit one more time, baby, right here on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one more time to the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast, and it is me, your host, Jimmy Street, here as always. Thank you guys so much for stopping by today. Great to have you. Hope you all are having an awesome day out there in listener land. Where is listener land, by the way? I've always wondered that. I guess I need to figure that out. Come meet y'all sometime. Anyway, yeah, guys, today we have an awesome show. The one and only Joe Gomez is here. That's right. Joe had a great career. He was from the Tampa area, considered the unofficial mayor of Tampa by a lot of your favorite wrestlers. Great friends with the champ Ric Flair, and so many others. He was an unofficial Horseman at one point. Joe is awesome. I've been able to interview him before on Live and in Color with Wolfie D, and had to have Joe back on this show. So thank you, Joe, for stopping by. Can't wait to get to you. But of course, before we do have a couple things I want to cover. The first one off the top, of course, is last episode, the one and only Mr. Outrageous Al Burke. I really hope y'all enjoyed that episode. Al was cool. Al was very cool to sit down and talk to me in depth about his career from wrestling to acting to stunt work. If you haven't checked that episode out, I mean, he wrestled basically from 88 to 93 in the WWF and wrestled everyone. I mean, honestly. So his story is a really good one, and we're so happy to have been able to feature that story. And thank you so much once again, Al, for dropping by. And of course, guys, next up, PahiUSA.com, the shoe company our buddy Del Torborg has. Use code BBB10 for 10% off. These shoes are great for balance. These shoes are great for, I mean, they're great shoes either way, but if you have a loved one that has balance issues, if you have balance issues, highly, highly recommend you grab Pahi. Once again, it's PahiUSA.com and use code BBB10 for 10% off. Check them out. All right, y'all, that is all I have for the open today. Sheik's joining me on the other side. Welcome to episode 134 with Joe Gomez. All right, we are back, and guys, I cannot tell you how excited about this show we have today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, the one and only Joe Gomez. Joe, how are you, sir?
Jimmy and Sheik, I really couldn't be much better. I've had my share of, or actually one health incident approximately 10.5 months ago. I rebounded back from it through a lot of love and friends and the fans, unbelievably so, 30 years later. And everything's great. Thank you. Everything is great.
Yeah, brother. It's great to have you here. Of course, I was able to interview a few years ago back on the Live and in Color with Wolfie D show. So that was a lot of fun, but I just had to continue it on this one. So thank you for coming on.
I'm honored.
Yeah, and we're so glad to hear about your health. That's awesome. I remember when that happened, the champ posted it on his Twitter, and I was like, holy cow, man, I hope Joe's okay. And then I saw you kicked out of it, so we're so glad you're here with us. But most importantly, we're just glad that you're healthy, brother, and you're doing better.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. Thank you, Sheik. I really appreciate the sentiment. And, the good thing about going through something like this, I've lost over 100 pounds. I'm back to pretty much my wrestling weight, and everything's great health-wise. I just had to learn the hard way. Yeah. But you really learn who your friends are and how people, it's amazing the kindness and the goodness of people, when you go through something like this. So, yeah. But to everybody out there, all the well wishes and everything, I just want to say thank you. And thank you guys for having me on your on your podcast. I'm flattered to be here, truly.
Well, it means it just as much to us, sir. Joe, of course, we recently saw you on the Renegade dark side, and we'll get more into the Renegade in just a little bit because he's got a big part of your career too. But how was that experience making that for Rick?
Well, I'll tell you, it was it was somewhat daunting as I was still in an acute care hospital called Encompass, tremendous facility.
Okay.
And I was still partially paralyzed, but they came, had assistance, get me out, took me to the studio, which was an old church that they redid, for the show.
Okay.
And I felt compelled to do it because I wanted Rick's story to be told properly. And I was there, unfortunately, for every aspect, from the girlfriend deal to, I knew her before Rick did, and I knew Rick when he was just a young male dancer here in the Tampa on the bar circuit here as I was bouncing here and owned bars in Tampa.
Yeah.
So we knew each other well before we wrestled together in WCW. So I was happy to tell his story the right perspective. He was a good man.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that part was shown because, so many of us podcasters, and I'll blame the podcasters because honestly, I can't blame anyone else. I mean, we can blame fans, but fans generally are fans. But podcasters seem to have this thing in them to where they don't sometimes see wrestlers as humans. They see them as, the people that, this guy lost all the time. He's not worth anything. Or this guy, they tried to do something in the back. And this is my plea to all of us fellow wrestling fans. These guys are human, man. These are real people. They live their life. They try to do their best and they want to live their dreams. So let's give them a little break, especially sometimes when it's not so easy on these guys. Right, Joe? Come on.
Listen, that's a great perspective, Jimmy, and I really, truly applaud you for having that. Because you're right, it is a tough business. The entertainment business itself is one of the toughest dog-eat-dog. It'll chew you up and spit you out.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to Ricky. He was just a good old country boy, good kid, and it was overwhelming. Like you get pushed to the top, then they pull the rug out from under you.
Yeah.
I was always fortunate. I had other things to fall back on, my businesses and everything else, which actually hindered me in my professional career as a wrestler. But I was able to have something to fall back on. So many of our friends don't have that. And I'd love to do your show later. We're working on something right now with a friend of mine, Jordan, with healthcare facilities, try to provide healthcare for so many of our brothers that aren't similarly situated, that don't have something to fall back on. They don't have health care. I'm not going to name names. Sure. One of them's a very dear friend of mine here in Tampa, or in Florida. Pinellas County. And try to do something to provide that for the boys. So I'll follow up with you when it gets a little bit further down the road. We have a meeting coming up with Tony Khan and, something to help out people like Rebel, who's going through it. God bless her. Steve Michael, who's a dear friend of mine. Fortunately, he had the auspices. The Chicago Bears put millions, $250,000 special van for him, the computer for him to communicate when he couldn't talk anymore. But so many people don't have that. And Tony Khan is truly a saint for what he does for the boys. But your perspective is spot on, my brother. Spot on.
Yeah, I just sometimes feel like I need to say stuff sometimes, because it's just, I know so many of you guys and I've gotten to know so many of you guys, and just to know the real people behind the person we see on TV, it just makes me angry sometimes when I hear these guys so callously say things that they have no clue about. So, and I'm not saying it's like I have a clue either. You know what I mean? But
but I think you do, Jimmy. I think you have. You know what it's called, Jimmy, that makes you a good guy and a really good podcaster? You have empathy.
Oh, thank you.
And when you lose empathy and you lose the human touch, you lose your perspective. But you have a great perspective and you have great empathy. And I think that's because of your love of the business. We all love the business. I love the business.
Yeah.
And I think you do too. And that shows through in your work, your podcast, and your respect for the business and the boys. For that, I applaud you, man.
Well, thank you for saying that, Joe. I greatly appreciate that. Well, I tell you what, let's go ahead and get her going here. Sheik, take your first question, brother.
All right, Joe. So this question is going to allow our listeners to kind of get a feel for, maybe who you like to work with, who you maybe grew up and idolized, who, or just who you think was a great overall talent that you want to recognize. If you had 4 to 5 names in the business that you would consider like your Mount Rushmore, like 4 to 5 names, who would those names be?
Wow, that's a great question. You know what? You got to go with Hulkster for what he did for the business, because he was Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan. I got to go with one of my very best friends, Ric Flair, because nobody had more quality matches with more people, did more jobs, was able to rebuild himself because he could talk, than Rick, in my opinion. Andre the Giant, because he was the 8th wonder of the world.
Yeah.
There'll never be another like him, and for the impact he had on the business as well. Gosh, that 4th spot's so tough. You have so many people up there, from Rock to Austin, but longevity you got to factor in. But in terms of being white hot, drawing money and saving WWE, because I was at WCW at the time and we had him on the ropes, I got to go with Austin as my 4th. Impact on the business. He was white hot and turned the entire tables. We had him on the ropes. So I got to go with Austin as my 4th. But that's a great question.
If you had a 5th, who would it be? If you had a 5th?
Wow, that's a real tough one, too. Now, being a regional guy, and you guys are from the Carolinas, so I know you're probably going to be right about there with me. I'm going to go Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Because in terms of magnetic presence and work rate, and you know what? He didn't look like the typical guy that we see now, which I think has homogenized the business as well. God bless that man. He could put fannies in seats. He can make people happy. I've never seen anybody transcend a racial lines, black, white, whatever it is, like Dusty Rhodes. Unreal.
Amen.
So that'd be my 5th.
Absolutely.
You hit it on the nail right there, brother. Seriously. Yeah.
Okay. It's a great list. Great list.
Yeah. Well, we'll bring it back to Joe now. How about that, brother? So we're going to go to the start here. And I think I know the answer to this question from previous conversations, but maybe our listeners don't. Who trained you? Okay. What year and where was it?
Oh, wow. It was Steve Keirn here in Tampa, Florida, who is still literally the brother I never had, older brother I never had. He's an uncle to me. I love the man. He is truly one of the best guys you ever met. And he ran FCW here for WWE. So I got to know so many of the young talent, actually not young now. Right. Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, the Fandango's one of my dearest friends, Santino Marella, on and on and on. But he touched me the same way in '89 and trained me. He and a gentleman named Ron Slinker, God rest his soul, who's gone now. Okay. And Mike Graham was my first tag team partner here in Florida.
Yeah.
So, I was just a kid in a candy store. I was in a wedding, Dusty Rhodes and Steve Keirn Mike Graham. Hey, kid, you want to be a wrestler? I thought they were ribbon. I was like, oh, my God, do I ever? So I was very blessed, guys. I had one of the all-time great trainers.
Amen.
And a true talent train me. And, he really cared about his students, myself included, all the boys he trained at FCW. Just a good man. Great man.
Yeah, no doubt. Steve's great. Well, what about your first match? Who was it against and where was it? This is good.
Oh, boys. We all have stories. Sheik, you worked. Am I right?
No, Sheik didn't actually. No, he's actually the only one not tied to the business.
That's okay. Listen, but you are tied to it, Sheik, because we all love it. That's what counts. There you go. You have a passion for something. You love it. I don't give a damn if you never took a bump or not.
I did take a bump from a big Samoan in a high school gymnasium one time.
No doubt. Oh, you're one of the boys. I say you're one of the boys, damn it.
Do you know Barbarian's brother, Ty?
I do. Barb,
that was him.
A friend of mine.
Yeah, that was him.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, North Carolina. Makes sense because Barb and C live in North Carolina. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'll be down.
Yep.
That's awesome. And then let me tell you, that is one of the all-time colorful characters in the business ever. Barb and Haku, oh, God.
Oh,
seriously.
Times I had with them. That's another story. But my first opponent was Coconut Kid here in Tampa, Florida at the world-famous Sportatorium, which was a hot box, about 200, 150 people, and some of the most compelling TV of any territory ever came out of there with Gordon Soley, Eddie Graham, Dusty Rhodes. DDP was a color commentator for me when I broke in, which led to our multi-decade friendship. So it was here in Tampa, Florida, and I'm proud to say it was Steve Keirn's student. Now, he might not be as proud, but God knows I got a PhD in running around with Nature Boy and the horse.
That's
I
advanced.
should have been practicing.
Yeah, that's a master's.
I was advanced. I was advanced. Trust me. I can hold my own with any of them. That I can promise you.
I believe it.
So you talked about teaming with Mike Graham in May of 90. Yeah, in May of 90, you all were the CWF tag team champions. How was it teaming with him?
Wow, you're good. You're good, Sheik.
Good research. Good research.
You know what it was, Sheik? Yeah, very good. Thank you. Sheik, you know what it was like? I was the young boy, jabroni. So it'd be heat on the young boy. And at the time, it was us against the Nasty Boys trading the title back and forth all throughout the state of Florida. Well, the Nasty Boys are big, young, and not as green as me, obviously, but still semi-green and stiff as a board. Oh, my God. So it'd be heat on the Indian, hot tag to Mike Graham, boom, 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 everything done, and then that's it. I'd be, hey, Mike, you want out? I'd be, yeah, kid. He'd always leave me in the parking lot in a cloud of dust. One of his Corvettes. Great guy, though, and he was a dear friend to me, and I learned a lot from him. But, Sheik, you want to talk about light and just being a smooth worker, I could equate him to Brad Armstrong, one of the best I've ever seen as well.
Wow.
I mean, just light as a feather and so easy and effortless. It's art. If you watch Brad Armstrong, Mike Graham, Ricky Steen, I don't have to tell you, you guys know, it's an art form. It's as pure as ballet.
Yeah.
And that's how Mike was. Truly a gifted worker. Oh, unreal.
So how was it working for Dusty during this time?
Dream was great to me. I mean, again, I had a certain look that they loved, they liked, they paid me good money. I think I just took it all for granted. I thought it was too easy. I got there too easy. I have to pay a lot of dues. I mean, I was living at home with my parents, going to school, learning how to wrestle with Steve Keirn, having fun with the boys, busting our ass in practice, going out after. I worked at all the hot clubs in Tampa, so hell, I was more over before I got in the business than when I got in the business. So I had it very easy getting in compared to a lot of guys who pay their dues and went to Japan and got, this and this. So I didn't really apply myself like I should have. I've been blessed. Life's turned out wonderful for me. I'm truly blessed. But, there's always that what if. Well, what if I would have, gone to the power plant, but I had Kevin Sullivan calling me, Commands, get ready. Pick us up at CNN stand at 5 o'clock. You're going on the road. I said, Kevin, I'm supposed to be, then he yelled at me, be there at 5 o'clock. Okay, what am I going to do? He was my boss. But they all liked me hanging around. I was the carrot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
that makes sense.
I was running around with them, living my dream. Greatest time of my life, some of the greatest times of my life.
Yeah.
But, you always say, God, what if? I know I had the ability, but I didn't apply myself, But I made wonderful friendships, unbelievable memories, and I'm lucky enough to be here talking about it with you guys on your podcast. So,
man, that's all that matters.
So bad.
Well, around this time, you worked some matches against Robert Fuller. Do you have any Robert Fuller stories?
Oh, my God. Robert, the Colonel, what a character. Some I can't tell on a nice podcast like this. He loved his Natty Light. He'd get a case of Natty Light, son of a gun, he'd drink them. He taught me a lot, though. What a worker. Just guys like him from the old territories, him and his brother. I mean, they knew so much with the raise an eyebrow, move a fingertip, and they could elicit whatever they got from the fans. Unreal. Just a brilliant mind for the business and a really good guy. He would always be real nice to young boys, myself and everything, and always, take time to help us, give us good advice. Tremendous guy. His mother lived out here in Clearwater. I used to see Robert quite frequently. I haven't seen him in a while, but good man. Very good.
Yeah. He seems to be thriving down there in Florida. So that's good to see. Anytime we see him on Facebook or wherever, it's always good to see Robert Fuller for sure.
Oh, he's a character.
Yeah. It looked like after teaming with Mike, you actually went on and teamed with Hurricane Bobby Walker. You got anything about Bobby?
Bobby is a great guy too. Again, $1 million look. Bobby, it's harder. Paul Lorndorff told me, Paul was one of my bosses, and I was really tight with Paul. It takes about 1,000 matches till that light bulb comes on. And I agree. I think that's a pretty good number. About 1,000 matches till you really get it, until you're comfortable and you know that you could call a match in the ring as you go, but you just got to have repetitions, and in front of a crowd. So you know how to get the response you're looking for. You know how to sell, you learn the psychology. We can all do the moves. You guys will learn the moves yourselves because you love the business. And I'm sure you're pretty athletic. But it's the psychology. It's the countless hours of learning what to do and when to do it in a match. And that's the hard part. It really is. And I think Bobby, again, $1 million look, great athlete, good-looking guy, and a real nice guy. He didn't get the opportunity to. The glass ceiling was there. You know, there was a bunch of myself, him, Disco, a bunch of young guys, Billy Kidman, who did actually get above and rise up. Chavo Guerrero, Juventud. There was a bunch of us young guys there together. And some of us took the opportunity, and some of us had the opportunity to rise above. Some of us didn't. You know?
Yeah.
But Bobby was a good man.
So, just kind of, I'm going to change what I was going to ask. I'm going to ask the other part here in a second, but like you were talking about, like repetition, 1,000 matches and stuff like that. I've heard that some people believe that's what is missing from the TV products these days, both AEW, TNA, and WWE. They don't have enough repetition. They don't do the house shows that people used to do.
You're exactly right. I could not agree more. Think about it, Sheiky. Back in the day, you had a territory. You learned how to work Memphis style, which had its own distinctive style. You go to Eddie Graham, unarguably one of the most brilliant minds in the business. You learn how to work that style. You go to the Von Erichs, you learn how to work world class. You go to Portland for Don Owens, you learn how to work that. So you got different places to perfect your craft, to learn your, I think when you have this style, everything's homogenized. Everybody looks the same. They all have great bodies. Oh, they look like $1 million. Dusty Rhodes would have a hard time getting a job now.
Oh, absolutely. Right? Yeah.
The man was probably the most charisma. I don't care any sport. Put him on Muhammad Ali. That son of a bitch was magic.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
I think when you get what you have now, TKO owning WWE and UFC and everything's a corporate conglomerate, and you lose the soul, the passion of what makes wrestling that made the three of us say, I think it's real. Made me taste the blood after a Dusty Rhodes match. Oh my God, the blood's real. My mom went home and told her. But when you could suspend the disbelief, I defy anybody, any naysayer. Watch Flair Steamboat, those 92 trilogies, or Flair Barry Windham. Tell me that that's not real. Unbelievable.
Amen.
It's unbelievable. I get goosebumps talking about it. I love it that much.
It's incredible.
My wife is not really like a fan. She's a fan through like me and my son, but like she was watching. I was watching one of the Steamboat Flair matches one time, and she said, "Wow, that's really good." She said, "Wow, that's really good."
There you go.
I mean, like,
and when you
go ahead.
You could have a wrestling widow like your beautiful wife admit that that's really good. That's saying something, right?
Yeah. That's true.
Absolutely.
And I defy anybody to watch the passion, the intensity, Steamboat Macho, WrestleMania. I mean, come on.
Anybody.
You just can't deny it. It's an art form. It really is an art form.
Amen.
And I was honored to be a part of it, and so many great characters. And the best thing is all the respect that I've gotten and the love that I've gotten from my fellow guys that I share the ring with, or countless hours in the car. Nate and I are still best of friends. He lives here in Tampa. Double A just texted me yesterday. I keep in touch with him. That means the world to you. Chris Abyss just reached out to me the other day. He was with Nate at the SummerSlam, and he didn't know that I had a health issue. Chris called me, and that's the great thing about our business is the brotherhood, and you guys as well. I'm flattered to be here, and I appreciate the respect and the. It's just nice to be remembered like that, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So in August of 1990, we see on WCW TV a wrestler named Alan Iron Eagle. Tell us about Alan and who came up with the name and who.
That was my first rookie. Yeah, that was my first rookie year. Then they said I was a rookie again in '96. Well, that's, guys, what I was telling you, when Mike and I were Florida Tag Team Champs, and I was having a blast and going to college, living at home, running around, living a dream, getting the hell beat out of me by the Nasty Boys. Ole Anderson came, and he came to the Sportatorium looking for talent. Well, I guess he liked, I was 6'3", long hair, good-looking guy, and he thought he could do something with it. So that's why my name was Alan Iron Eagle, because I was the oldies guy. His real name, obviously, was Alan Rodgewitz. I'm not pronouncing right, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So that's where the Alan I knew came from. And Jim Barnett liked me, and that's a whole other story. But so, I was just green as goose. I had 15 or 17 matches under my belt when they hired me. Yeah. And I was real green. But that's where I met Rick and Arn. And, Keirn had always trained me the proper way. Introduce yourself, be humble, have respect. It's a respect-based business, which it is. So I always had no problems, and I always got along well with everybody. Rick and Arn took me under their wing, and a friendship was formed that lasted 4 decades, 36 years. Good God. But, it was a great time. But, again, I was if you ever watch Clash of Champions, I don't know which one it was, but it was myself and I think Flying Brian, or it might have been the Renegade Warriors.
Yes.
Young Blood, God rest his soul. And it was against the Freebirds.
Yes.
Well, my hair was long, and I was down selling. My hair was in my eyes. I didn't see Michael's, that legendary quick punch he had, it came out of nowhere. I no-sold it. He thought I did it on purpose, trying to bury him, which, of course, 17 match, I had no idea. He and Jimmy Garvin beat the living hell out of me. We go to the back. I said, guys, what happened? Oh, well, you didn't sell that shit. I said, I didn't see it. I'm sorry. I was, my hair was in my eyes. I was down selling. Oh, I'm sorry, kid. Subsequently, he invited me to his wedding. And, Mike and I are really good now. But that night, no, it was not that good. But I had a great time up there. It was about a year and a half. They had me under contract. I was making $1,000 a week, $52,000 a week. And I thought of $52,000 a year. I'm sorry. And I thought I was living high hog, it was a great time. Flair taught me, take advances, kid, because I could get $3 advance on the road. Rick would get like $5,000.
Right.
And he said, we always have cash on you. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. So I would take my draw 3 or 4 nights a week. Then at the end of the month, I'd get a check for like $500. Like, what the hell happened? Oh, your money was taken in draws. So needless to say, Rick was not the best influence in that to carry me. But I've had some legendary times with him, and he's got a heart of gold. He's just no regard for money whatsoever.
The champ. He's just not good at money. It's okay.
No, but boys, I promise you this, he lives his gimmick. You guys ever come down to Tampa, I will show you a legendary time. I promise you that.
We'll book it tomorrow. So,
boys, book it. Book it. We'll do a podcast down here. Book it. Come on down.
All right. We're going to hold you to that.
I got a beautiful 3-bedroom condo on the beach. You guys are welcome to stay at.
Joe, you're the man. Yeah. Well, to continue on a little bit there, December of 90, you worked several house shows, and you kind of brought them up before we got going here against the Master Blasters and Master Blaster Steel. And how were those matches, and did you ever think Kevin Nash would become somebody that he was at that time? So,
no, he and I rode a bit together. Kevin's a great guy. And we rode a bit. He was a bouncer at Cheetah, and I got to know him from there. And, obviously being on the road, I was married to him for about a month on the road with Al Green, who I broke in with in Florida, trained by Steve Keirn, of course, as well. And I remember once in the match, I got, I was in the Omni, 13,000 people, and I locked up. I forgot the spot. Al Green punches me square in the face. You got it now, kid? Yeah, I got it. I was like dazed, but I learned not to fit a spot. Oh, they were stiff. God, I thought the Nasty Boys were stiff in Florida. Oh, Kevin Nash was 350, 6'11", 7 foot tall, jacked. Al Green was 300, 295, 6'3". Oh, that was a nightmare. Great guys, but yeah, I got my ass beat. But good memories. Al's gone now. He had a lot of health issues. Good guy, though.
Yeah.
And Kevin's been through his own stuff, and he's always been a great guy to me. Years later, we were WCW again. He and Scott Hall, who was a tremendous, tremendous friend, always come to my bars, restaurants that I own here in Tampa, and Scott will put down a platinum card and say, listen, Chief, I'm paying for myself and whoever's with me. I don't want anything free. I'm here to support your business. But that was a real brother. Scott Hall was one of the classiest guys and funniest guys you ever met. Good man.
Yeah, that's what we've heard.
Dearly.
Yeah.
Oh, the best. And Kevin Nash, a great guy too.
So in 91, you work a dark match, 8-man tag against the Four Horsemen, the Barry and Sid version. What do you remember about that match?
Oh, yeah. I remember Rick and I were circling. Come on, kid, let's see if you're all what they say you are. And I was so excited to work the Horsemen. I was like, oh my God, I could die and go to heaven right now. This is it. So that was a big thrill for me, and went uneventful. I was lackluster, green rookie. Excited beyond belief. I wrestled on one-on-one for the TV title sometime around that era as well, and that was a real trip for me too, because Arn and I are still dearest of friends. So yeah, just to be associated with those guys, and I traveled with Rick and Arn and Barry, and had some unbelievable. Barry Windham was truly one of the greatest guys, and he's having some health issues now. So thoughts and prayers out to BW.
Absolutely.
He's down here in Brooksville, and he's got some serious health issues, but he's doing good. He's doing better. And Mike Rotunda had a heart attack too. Mike and I actually both at Fandango's wedding. I was best man at Fandango's wedding in Maine a year ago now, a little less. Okay. In September it'll be a year. And Mike and I were both there. We came home, boom, a week later, Mike had a heart attack, I had a stroke. And Mike had a stroke as well.
Golly.
And they were both pretty bad. Yeah, it was crazy. So I said, Dango, hell, what's on, kid?
Yeah.
And Mike in the hospital. But yeah, Dango's still one of my best friends, and he's producer for TNA, doing real well.
What a talent he is, too.
Yeah. So
tremendous talent. Got stuck with a goofy gimmick, but hell of a worker.
But he made a lot of the gimmick, I thought. I mean, like, he did a lot with it that you wouldn't think anybody could just do.
Could not agree more.
Yeah.
Very, very educated perspective. You're right. I think he did the best that he could with that, but no guy's going to sit in the crowd and say, oh, that guy's a tough guy. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Oh, exactly.
But he did do the best with it. Absolutely did the best he could. Actually, that Fandango theme song was like top 5 in Europe at one point for a time being. Yeah, it got over to a degree. It really did.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And he got his own construction company now. I believe it's called Sparrow Construction in Portland, Maine, where he lives. Got married to a beautiful girl named Emily, and he's doing very, very well.
That's awesome.
Great to hear. Great to hear. You're listening to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Are you a pro wrestling fan? Well, stop by Captain's Corner, where you can get autographed photos, cards, magazines, and figures from all of your favorite wrestling superstars of the past, present, and future. You'll also be able to participate in live signings in the weeks and months to come. Make sure to stop by Captain's Corner on Facebook and give us a holler. Remember, cheers to the working man.
Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, James J. Dillon, Ric Flair, the Four Horsemen. The most powerful name in professional wrestling. Their strength is legendary. Their stamina is boundless. Their endurance is beyond the ordinary. And you are about to discover their most powerful secret. This is the Four Horsemen top performance system of caplets and chewable wafers, formulated especially for the Four Horsemen to provide peak energy, endurance, and unsurpassed power.
Power Formula 1 and Power Formula 2. The top performance system that has made the Four Horsemen the most fearsome force in professional sports.
Formula 1 chewable wafers for that quick burst of energy, and Formula 2, an exclusive complex of the most potent herbs, extracts, vitamins, and amino acids. Take it from the champ.
Formula 1, Formula 2, the power secret of the Four Horsemen. Use it every day, and you'll improve your performance in everything you do.
The power secret of the pros, yours if you order now.
In 92, you worked for ICWA in Florida. Tell us about that, a little bit about that time.
Oh, those are great. Yeah, those are great shows. They'd have everybody from Kevin Sullivan to Dream sometimes, Dusty Rhodes, my old accountant, who's unfortunately died during COVID, Harry Venice. He was a 3-time mayor of Davie, Florida, which is where the Dolphins used to have training camp. So we would go down there, wrestle at Davie Rodeo Arena, Dusty Rhodes. Blackjack was there before, Abby, Abdullah. Kevin Sullivan was always there because Kevin lived in Key Largo. Kevin and I were good friends, so I was always on the indies with Kevin. Kendall Windham. I mean, there was a lot of talent there. We had a great time. And, being in Florida, you could be anywhere in Florida and be home that night. But invariably, I'd stay over, go out with the boys and, just have a great time. Those are great years. They really were, because I owned bars and restaurants here called Cherries in Sushi on 7th. So I just go do the Indies on the weekends and, have fun seeing friends and still being involved in the business that I love. And it was a great time. Really was.
Okay.
Great.
In 93, we actually couldn't find anything on you working anywhere because in 94, you show up in Puerto Rico. But did you take some time off in 93? Or were you just working other places?
Well, I was doing the restaurants, and I had opened up my first one, Cherries, in 94.
Okay.
That was my very first business on my own, Ybor City. We had a 22-year run there. Then I had a death in the family, and my mother died. And my dad was really, 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 it was tough on him because they were everything. And I was an adopted only kid. So I stayed home with him. He helped me open up Cherries. He was very proud. It was really good for us to be together and to have that closeness because he was devastated, obviously.
Yeah.
And I was. But then unfortunately he died in 95 of cancer, lung cancer. He had quit smoking, but unfortunately not enough time. So then I was obviously distraught. And Rick and Arn, as our business is so fraught with, they had me come to Christmas. I spent 5 Christmases, a week at Rick's and a week at Arn's in Charlotte. Right there with you guys.
That's
and
awesome.
Had the time of my life, Yeah, no, they were just brothers. And I would stay with them a week, each out a week, and Rick and Arns. They were just trying to keep me out of, being so sad because I was an adopted only kid. So my friends had been my family for 40 plus years.
Right.
And then they taught me into going back to WCW and, an opportunity came. I'm like, yeah, why not? Eric paid me good money. He goes, kid, you got a great look. I'm like, oh, thank you. And, they hired me and gave me the go-round. So,
yeah.
Well, it's just history. Had a great time.
Yeah. It does. Did you show up in Puerto Rico a little bit in 94? Is that correct?
I did. I wrestled in Puerto Rico. Had a great time there. Just doing independence. We would do the Bahamas because Keirn would run the Bahamas every month for Florida Championship or FWC. Florida Wrestling, or whatever it was called.
Right.
And so we'd go to the Bahamas every month. We'd go to Puerto Rico and just tremendous. We did Aruba. We did a young man died there. Lex Lovett. He died in my hands. It's horrible. In Peru. Yeah, the Seminole tribe backed the tour, and Keirn had put the tour together. Big Tugboat was there. The Gemini twins, myself, Anka. It was actually a good card. And unfortunately, a young man died there, and that pretty much ended that. But we did a lot of international tours.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think where else. Curacao. Oh, God, I did a lot of travel in those years. But then, it was just time to go back. WCW. Arn and Rick talked me into it, and Kevin Sullivan had the book there, and Kevin and I were good friends. So it felt right, and we had a good time there.
In 94, May of 94, you show up in IWA Japan. Who was your contact over there?
Yes. It went through, oh, God rest his soul, he's gone now. He was the senator there. Oh, gosh darn it. I just saw a post about him. It began with O. His last name began with O.
Okay. Yeah, no worries.
Nishimuro. Great guy, and I knew him from Florida. He was trained by Malenko's.
Okay.
So he had gotten me over there, and that was a tremendous experience. Just going to Japan was amazing. The culture, the people, the work rate was tough, but everybody there was just so accommodating. Really, if you haven't been to Japan, I definitely say, guys, just go there.
I'd love to go.
If you can tie in with your podcast, great. But even if you just go there to visit, it's an amazing culture, amazing people.
Definitely.
So the first month you're there, you kind of work Dick Murdoch a few times. Any good stories about working Dick, and just any good stories about him in general?
You're already laughing.
Dick Murdoch is a Tampa legend, boys. When he was in high school, he knocked out this All-American linebacker from Tennessee. I cannot remember his name. At Beach Week, which is infamous here. We were young. We'd go to the beach for a week, stay there with our friends. But Dick backed down John Matuzak when Matuzak played at the University of Tampa. Was Slater was over a girl, of course, and Slater didn't back down, and that was one tough son of a gun. Good guy, though. Very good guy. But when I got to know him, we worked together at WCW as well. His back was really, really, really bad. So he was definitely on the tail end of his career. And God, Flair used to love Dick Slater, always idolized him. drove a white Corvette. Rick would always talk about what a tough guy Slater was. And he was a great worker when he was healthy. But, working with him was easy. It was an education. Those guys did so much with so little because they didn't have to. You guys know that. That's what your podcast is about, real pro wrestling.
Amen.
Just the littlest things those guys would do. And it meant so much to the match. And I learned so much from them. Yeah. But Dick was a good man. Troubled soul, but a good man.
We love Dick Murdoch on this show. It's just, anytime we can hear stories about him, we appreciate it. And I see in August.
Captain Redneck.
Amen. Exactly. And so in August of 94 and September of 94, you work a couple of these death matches. One is a bunkhouse death match. Is that like a bunkhouse stampede where they bring a bunch of people in, or do you remember the stipulations on a bunkhouse death
match? I don't remember the specifics. I remember we just wear jeans tucked into our cowboy boots and go out there and brawl and color.
Okay.
A lot of blood.
Yeah.
But it was a great experience because it taught you a whole different style. My style was always, class, tackle, drop down, get it again, run the road, the typical babyface stuff. But when you go there and you learn a different style, it gives you an appreciation for guys like Cactus Jack or even Necro Butcher and guys that Abdul the Butcher, Sheik, your countenance Sheik, the original Sheik. Those guys did so much with much more limited skill set, but they got so much out of it. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So you teamed with Crash the Terminator, also known as Hugh Morris. Tell us about tagging with him.
Oh, yeah. Just a great guy. Funny man. Oh, my God. Hugh's doing a lot of great things now. As you guys know, he lost his daughter in a tragic DUI accident.
Yeah.
The other driver was drunk. And Hugh and his wife, just wonderful people. All they do now is they raise awareness for Mothers Against Drunk Driving and against drunk driving, and it's become their mission. And he is a great guy. Chubby Wubby. He calls him Chubby Wubbies. He was 325, 315, doing moonsaults off the top rope, light as a feather.
Yeah.
Light as a feather.
Man.
Could brawl, could do everything. Really talented athlete. Funny guy. Those are great times. I miss Hugh dearly. He just reached out to me not too long ago, he and his wife.
Yeah. I'm glad to see he's active and doing stuff after that loss. That was horrible. So sad.
Well, you know what? That's how they're honoring her memory, and he's my hero. How you could go through that, but he's trying to help other people and save lives, and that's a beautiful thing. He's a great man.
Yeah. In early 96, it looks like you did a couple shots for WWF. Were there any talks about staying up there?
There was an opportunity, but again, guys, I'm very realistic.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I wasn't, because I had other businesses here and I had, bars and restaurants and, other things that were kind of keeping me chained down here. I mean, we had $1 million restaurant, Sushi on 7th. It was a real high-end sushi bar. Cherries and still with a 22-year run. So it was on the back end of that. I knew that I couldn't commit to that in terms of the grueling schedule. I mean, back in those days, those guys ran hard. And I was friends with Hulkster from Clearwater and Hawk, who lived here, and the Nasty Boys, of course, from, breaking with them. And Bulldog and a lot of the other guys, those guys were rode hard. I mean, every one of them had just so many injuries from 25 days a month, 30 days a month on the road, the grueling European tour. And all I would hear was nightmares about the schedule.
Yeah.
So I kind of realized I probably wasn't cut out for that, to be honest. And you have to, listen, you got to look at yourself with a critical eye and be serious. I wasn't serious enough about it. Eric Bischoff would tell me, "Kid, can't you get abs?" And I would just be like, "Eric, I'm trying. And, and again, it's probably because I was fortunate I had other ventures to count on or whatever. But, again, you always say, God, what if, But I was lucky for the chances that I got, the opportunities I had, the friendships I made, and I'll never look back. I had a great time.
That's awesome.
So you talked about it before. You went back to WCW in 96. In July, you work Steve Mongo McMichael at Bash at the Beach pay-per-view. What do you remember about that?
Oh, God, yeah. Well, that was the night the NWO debuted.
Oh, yeah.
And you've never seen a cavalcade, a of garbage thrown in the ring as that night. I never seen anything like it. You watch the video back, I think Pee Wee or maybe Hulk or Monch, one of the guys got their head with a full cup, soda,
Scott
beer, whatever it was.
Yeah. Well, Scott Hall didn't even.
There you go.
He just sweeps his hair back. He just does it. He acts like he knew he was going to get it.
Yeah, he no-sold it, of course.
Of course.
But, man, you want to talk about heat, unreal heat. Unreal.
Yeah.
And let me just told him it was a huge coup. Huge coup.
What was the locker room like during that? Was there?
Well, nobody knew.
Oh, okay.
Nobody knew.
That's what I was going to say. Did anybody know, actually?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure Eric knew, probably Paige, because they were best friends, but none of us knew. None of us knew.
Yeah.
Because they kept Hogan sequestered. You didn't see him until he came out.
Okay.
And then you want to talk about, oh, my God, the whole place went nuts.
Yeah.
He dropped the leg. Poof. But that's what started the turnaround. And for 83 weeks, as Eric's podcast will tell you, 83 weeks would crush them in the ratings. And it was like being in Van Halen, or it was like being in the Beatles in the 60s. I mean, we would go to college towns, and that's how you know you're over, when you're over with the college kids.
Right.
And they would have nitro parties, and it was amazing. Amazing time.
So here's a funny story, Joe.
Peak of the wrestling business.
My wife was at that Club La Vila the night Sting came out of the helicopter. She was there for spring break from college, and
my God,
yeah, it's pretty crazy, right?
I was there. That was a great club. Oh my God, I remember Ray Mysterio. We all got Flair got us on purple Hooters or whatever. That was a rough time. Yeah. Oh, come here, kid. Come here. Oh, you gotta. And Rick's deal was, they say there's a beautiful shooter girl. Mm-hmm. Oh, why don't you come join us after? Oh, I can't. I've got to sell this tray, another one in the back. I'll buy them all. And then he'd throw them over his shoulder and pretend he was drinking them. Meanwhile, he'd get us hammered. I have a very low tolerance. He'd throw his over the show. God, please. That's too much. But yeah, the stories I could tell you, if this was on serious, I could tell them, but I won't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a great guy. I see him all the time. I just talked to him earlier. He lives here in Tampa, in downtown, the channel side.
Man.
I see him 2-3 times a week. We have lunch, and his is a liquid lunch, but just talk about old times, and he's the best. And living his gimmick like nobody else ever.
That's all we need really in life is Ric Flair living his gimmick.
You're right. You're right. And
the world is
he always loves to say, boys, he goes, I'm 77 and a half. He goes, Chief, can you believe I outlived Hulkster? I'm like, I know, buddy, I know. And then he gets a little sad, especially with Dory, just dying the other day, and Terry being gone. Piper hit him real hard. He and Piper and Roddy were real tight.
Oh, yeah.
And every time we lose one of our legends, guys like that, again, Piper, he could very well be on the Mount Rushmore. So could Dory Funk Jr. So could Terry. Yep. Dusty hit him hard, losing Dusty. So every time we lose one of those guys that really made the business what it is, you just kind of tend to treasure Rick even that much more. And the excitement and the joy he brought to so many people.
Yeah, definitely.
So in September of '96, you work, 3 or 4 house shows against DDP. Tell what do you remember about working DDP? He's done so much for the boys.
Great guy. Actually, it's funny you say that. He's right now. He and I are still dear friends. He is in Europe, and I don't recall where, Switzerland somewhere. His wife Paige, ironically, her name is Paige.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah, true story. She's a mountain climber. So they're out mountain climbing, Australia, Austria, I don't know, somewhere. When he gets back, I'm going to his performance lab or center in where Flair got married. La Pearl is in Mexico Beach. It's up there by Destin. But he's got a place there as well on the water. Beautiful place. So I'm going to go there for a week. I'm going to go through his thing and, videos and all that.
Cool. Yeah.
Kind of like what he did for Scott and Butterbean and Lex.
Dude,
and Paige and I have just been very dear friends for a long time. But working him was great because Paige, master of preparation. Like, if he had a match, even with a jabroni like me, he's going over it 20, 30 minutes, 45 minutes so that as well as him, every single move. Some guys like to do it that way, where Rick will say, let's go in the ring, kid,
Yeah.
Other guys will do it that way, but Page was meticulous in preparation. Everything from warming up for 45 minutes, because he started when he was 36.
Right.
So he really accomplished a lot. And so he would have to warm up, and he'd always be the last one out. Even when he was jerking the curtain, he'd be last one out because he would cover his body in ice. And, oh, man, the dues that guy paid to become a world champion, 3-time world champion, as a 45, 46, 48-year-old man, unreal.
That's amazing.
Unreal.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he was a meticulous in preparation. Every single detail of the match he had to work out.
Yeah. Well, you were just on the dark side for this gentleman, and we did start the episode talking about Rick, and we know him as a Renegade. But in December of '96, they put you and Renegade together as a team, and y'all worked pretty much all the TV tapings.
Yes.
Who put you guys together?
Yeah.
And I think, we heard that. But.
Jimmy Hart.
Right.
Jimmy Hart was always my biggest kid. Look, when they called the airport test. If you walk through the airport and you turn heads, they think that could draw money. And it's not a bad barometer, I'd say. It's probably a pretty good litmus test.
Right.
And Jimmy Hart said, girls always ask, who is that? Who is that? And he was always my biggest proponent. And to this day, I'll appreciate. Every time when I see Jimmy, I told Eric, we could have made money with you, kid. You could have been. To this day, he does that all the time. Jimmy is just a great guy and a great cheerleader and he's on your side. You could have nobody better. You know what I mean? And just a good guy.
And I know
it was Jimmy's idea. Jimmy did the music.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll make him better.
Yeah.
He's 80 years old, 87 years old. Look at him. He has not changed a bit. It's unreal.
Not a bit. Yeah.
And his energy level never stops, never wanes. He's like Flair.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say during that Dark Side episode, and I don't want to pick on Jimmy because he's like, we were talking about Mount Rushmore managers, Mount Rushmore at mines for their business. Jimmy's one of those guys.
Yeah.
But that promo that he is cutting on Renegade in the ring hits a little different now.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, knowing what we know now, guys, it's really mean-spirited. And if you know Jimmy, he's the furthest guy in the world from that. But again, Kevin was a booker. Jimmy was doing what he was told to do.
Yeah, yeah. The one thing that we learned in this Dark Side that I don't think a lot of listeners knew and a lot of fans knew about you was the faction that they were going to try to create, the In-Crowd group. You and Renegade and Jim Powers and Alex Wright together. What was all about?
Yeah.
What was that all about?
Again, that was Jimmy Hart just trying to get some guys, that were the lower mid-card guys that they weren't doing anything with.
Right.
So he wanted to put us together as, I guess, a poor man's Four Horsemen or maybe good-looking Four Horsemen. I don't know. Alex Wright was a draw. Good-looking kid. Great athlete. Great athlete. Jimmy Powers was a very, very solid, accomplished worker. Good-looking guy. Great shape. Myself, and they had a look they liked. Work-wise, definitely wasn't the level of Jimmy Powers and Rick, who had a good look as well. But again, he and I were definitely the least accomplished of the workers of them. And that was on us. We had the opportunity to be at the power plant to put the time in like Page did, like high dosage. Oh, God, high voltage. We used to call them high dosage. For obvious reasons. Great, both great guys, though. Really good guys.
Yeah.
And the power plant was great. Sarge just reached out to me the other day. Tremendous guy. They were putting me up at the Marriott. My job was to go to the power plant 5 days a week, like Goldberg did, like everybody did. Ray Lloyd, Ernest the Cat Miller, Page started out there and would live there and videotape every workout. I'd be like, man, I'm ready to go cheat. I'm out of here. Come on. I'm going to go meet Nate at the Renaissance. So I took that more serious, running out Rick and Arn because, oh, my God, I'm with the Horsemen.
Of course.
Instead of putting in time in but I don't know. You might have handled better than me. I was starstruck, and I love those guys. I'll be honest.
I doubt it. I'll be honest.
You over it. I appreciate that. But, they're putting you over. To this day, Rick, oh, this is Joe. Joe's the mayor of Tampa, and Rick, hyperbole. He's great like that.
Yeah.
But, it's pretty heady stuff when you're 28, 27. You got the greatest of all time proclaiming you as, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be a lot, man. I mean, I couldn't have handled it at 28.
The time in, and then,
yeah.
Well, yeah, not many guys can, I guess. Sting was, really good about it, and some of the other guys, and obviously Goldberg. But like I said, I was so over in my own hometown before I ever got into wrestling. So I just kind of kept on going along my own way, just being myself and running around with the girls and running around with Flair, and he and I just hit it off, and it was pouring gasoline on a fire, the two of us together, except I didn't really drink. But, those are just great times. And then subsequently, when my contract was out and I was released, they didn't re-sign me. They asked me, this is the funny part, they asked me, I'm not going to say names, to join the lawsuit against WCW for discrimination. And you guys all know who got paid a lot of money. And I was like, no, it was on me. I always believe in being a man, and not that they weren't, but you got to take a look at yourself. It wasn't their fault that I didn't get over. Eric gave me every opportunity to get over it. Every opportunity. Treated me like $1 million. But I chose not to get over. I chose to run out Rick and Arn and, live like a little horseman, all that stuff, So I should have been putting the time in there with Sarge, with Jody Hamilton, with Paige, with all the other guys who did, but I wanted to run out Rick and Arn.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't join the lawsuit. Sometimes I think, God, I wish I had. Those guys got millions.
Yeah.
You named one of the guys' names earlier, and there's some other guys, I'm not going to say the names. The one guy in specific is the one who asked me to join it because I was Native American, because a guy named Charlie Norris was in WCW before me.
Right.
He got fired. I'm not going to knock him because I thought he was a good guy. I don't know him well. But I guess he had a drinking issue like a lot of the boys did.
Right.
And he sued Turner Broadcasting, and he hit him for like $500,000. The only reason I know this is because, what was his name? He was legal. Gary Juster.
Yeah.
They hired a private detective to find out what my lineage was before they did an Alan Ironu gimmick. They wanted to know if I was really Seminole or Indian, rather.
Okay.
So that's the only reason they did that, because they didn't want to get hit with another lawsuit. They said, Joe, we don't think you would be that way, but, we got to be careful.
Right.
And subsequently in 97, 98 or whatever, that whole other lawsuit came, they hit the company hard for millions. But I chose not to be a part of that because, they didn't discriminate against me. Eric gave me the WCW main event neon sign for my bar, Seashon 7. It was hanging on the wall. It had big 30-foot walls. No, Eric, I know, I lost it subsequently. But Eric treated me like gold, So I just chose not to take advantage of the situation. I took advantage of it in other ways. Gold club, you name it, running around like a savage.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
So after you're done with WCW, it looks like you work pretty much every independent in Florida. Can you tell us anything about some of those promotions?
Independence.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a great time. You're getting paid back then on $300-400 cash. Everything was a short ride. I'd ride one of my good friends, Lou Perez. Lou Cabri was the one in particular.
Okay.
And we'd go to the shows, just have a great time, Meanwhile, understand, I own bars in Ybor City, which was the entertainment capital of Tampa back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
There'd be 30 to 40,000 people in the street. Yeah. They'd close the streets off for traffic, so there's 30 to 40,000. It was like Mardi Gras, like a poor man's Mardi Gras.
Right.
And Cherries was big there, Seashon 7th. So I was living a charmed life, and being a person who grew up in Tampa and knew everybody and was plugged in politically, however you want to say it. That's why my nickname's the Mayor of Tampa. It was a good existence. I really didn't have the urge to go on the road and grind like those guys are doing. It was tough.
Yeah.
It was a tough schedule. Even at WCW in the 90s, when we were in the middle of the Monday Night Wars, it was a lot of travel, but it wasn't as bad as WWE. WWE, those guys were, that was tough.
Yeah. So we've got one more question, Joe. You've been so kind to answer all these, but I want to say something to you before I give Sheik back the microphone. So When I was in the 90s, obviously we were huge wrestling fans. Me and my brother, we loved it. But I was also in a band in the mid 90s. And I told you this on the Wolfie Show. You probably don't remember it, and I don't blame you. It's okay.
I
You've
remember.
been through a lot.
No, I do remember because I'm a huge music lover. I love music.
Well,
I
cool.
wish I had any type of ability.
Well, so when we would practice, I'm a bassist, but I play a little guitar and a little bit of everything, but I'm mostly a bass player.
Awesome.
But so we would stop practice when Nitro would come on, okay? And we almost separated. Yeah, we would separate the guys, and we actually found that it was more fun for us to pull for the underneath guys. And you were my pick. Okay. We had somebody else. We had some other guys who liked some of the other guys, like, Roadblock or Rick Fuller or whoever. But you were always my guy, Joe. So I thank you so much for always living up to that, man. So thank you.
Well, you know what? That really means a lot. I appreciate that. Thank you. Mine would have been, for all the underneath guys, Disco.
Yeah, Disco.
He was a character.
Yeah. What a great guy. Well, Disco's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. There was just something about you that you I can tell you're a genuine person, but you also ooze a confidence, and that's something cool too, man. Not a lot of people can ooze confidence and also be a real person.
Well, you know what? I appreciate that, Jimmy. I think you always got to be humble and just remember, But for the grace of God goes on. I'm not a huge holy roller or any way, shape, or form. I do believe, but
sure,
just treat people the way you want to be treated, brother. And life's easy. I mean, I've had a charmed existence. I truly have. But I do appreciate the kind words, and I hope you boys come to Tampa sometimes. Then you'll see what the deal is. You'll have a great time. Between me and Nate, I don't know you'll ever go back to Charlotte. I ain't gonna lie. You're always welcome to come.
Thank you, brother. Well, like I said, we got one more question.
I'll have you in a turban, Sheik, so help me God.
I love it. I love it. Sheik, hit him with that last question.
All right, Joe. So you've wrestled a lot of greats in your career. Now, this question doesn't have to be one of them. But if you looked back on your career and you said, that was my favorite match I was ever a part of, what match would that be?
Probably Arn Anderson for the TV title. Just because it was an honor to be up for the TV title. It was a decent match. I had good to tell you the truth. The funniest thing, guys, for any young guy listening to this, love the business, apply yourself to it, get in the best shape you can. But I think working independence is good because when you're on the independent and say you come from WCW, what I did, I was treated as a top guy.
Yeah.
And you learn to work as a top guy. When I was at WCW, I was too giving out of respect. You're wrestling Barbarian, Dick Slater, Dick Murdoch, Haku. You're giving. You're very giving. And veterans will take advantage of that. Not necessarily eat you up, but, they're going to get their shit in and not care so much about you. It's just that's the law of the jungle.
Right.
But to work the independence, you have a different perspective. I worked Jamie Noble when he was up and coming young boy, and I took the match. I didn't take it. I gave him a lot and sold for him. But another guy was Connor from the Ascension, who's a dear friend of mine, Ryan O'Reilly. He did a dancing leprechaun down in Hollywood. He and I laugh about it whenever we see each other. But when you do that, you learn a perspective like Paul Orndorff told me. You have to learn to work like a top guy. Go until they cut you off. Well, I never did that in WCW because I didn't know any better. I was green as goose shit, pardon my language. But I think the best advice is you just got to learn how to work on top, take what you could take until they cut you off, So that was good for me. And if I had really been motivated to go back, I could have done it again because I did a couple of matches back in like 2000 or 99, right before they sold. Because Kevin Sullivan, I'll tell you a funny story. Kevin Sullivan and Macho Man, God rest both their souls, they came to Sushi on 7th and offered me a job with WCW again, right before when Kevin took back over after Eric got sent home again. It was right towards the end, and they offered me good money. I'm like, you know what, guys, I've got X amount, not all my money, $1 million tied up in this place. I kind of got to be here, like what I'm doing now with my IV thing at the Hard Rock. I got to be there and shake hands, kiss babies, when it's your business, you got to be there. You got to, like what you're doing with your podcast.
Right.
So I turned them down, and it was a great offer, and it was really kind of them, but it was more based out of friendship because Kevin and I were really, and actually I was good with Macho too. Macho was a great guy. So, but if I wish I had that inspiration to do it, I learned so much working on the independents and work in other territories. But when you work as a top guy, and I say that tongue in cheek, and I was never a top guy, but when you're on the independents, you come from a major organization, you're treated that way.
Right.
And you could learn so much by doing that. That was the best thing for me, for my evolution. And I could now what I know now from learning and watching, and another good thing for young boys, ride in the car. Listen to the guys. Listen to a guy like CM Punk. Listen to a guy like Ernest the Cat Miller or Glacier, Ray Lloyd, or whoever, whatever veteran he could have, and you get some ear time with them and listen. Keep your mouth shut, ears open, and you'll learn so much from those rides. You really do. What to do, why do it, why did you do this at one point in the match? But I wish I had taken that advice because I rode with some of the greatest minds in the business. Kevin Sullivan, Flair, Double A, Barry Windham. I mean, I was with those guys more than I was with my own family.
Man.
So that would be the best advice I would tell you.
Well, that is great advice, and that is a great way to end this episode. Joe, one thing, give the champ our best, please, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
I'll give you my word, I will.
Thank you.
Guys, thanks for having me. Like I said, it's always great to be remembered fondly, and it's always great to be remembered by my favorite bass player.
There you go.
From the 90s as his favorite wrestler. Thank you.
Thank you. Joe, you're the best, brother. Take care, man. Have a great day.
Continued success, boys. Take care, and thank you guys very much.
All right, brother. We'll see you in Tampa.
Take care, boys.
All right.
Look forward to it. You got an open invite. Come on down.
All right, buddy. Thank you. All right, that was the one and only Joe Gomez. We'll be right back to wrap things up on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling after these messages.
Hey, my name is Tammy Reynolds. I am the wife of Forsaken Rick Reynolds, that super cool guy that everybody knows and loves. And I represent West Side Sauces. I make sauces, I bottle them, I seal them, I sell them. I have a hot honey sauce, I have a sweet sauce, I have a hot sauce, I have a white sauce that's so yummy you can use it on everything. They are absolutely amazing, and I'm so proud of them. We make them from scratch. So go on our website, westsidesauces.com, check out our products, read about our story, and go online and order you some of these yummy sauces. And Rick actually uses all of the sauces because he is a die-hard smoker and griller, and so he likes really good sauces and rubs, and I make them, so how convenient is that for him? Go on our website, westsidesauces.com, order you some samples, and I think you'll thoroughly enjoy them. Thank you, guys. Be blessed.
All right, guys, we are back, and that was the one and only Joe Gomez. Guys, Joe is a real one. Joe is such a genuine person and soul that you can just tell from the conversation that guy is a good guy. And Joe, just thank you so much for coming on the show. Brother put me over way more than I deserve, honestly. So thank you, Joe, for being Joe. It really means a lot. And thank you for coming on the show and telling your story, brother. You're welcome back anytime. And hopefully one day we'll see each other and get to hang out like you talked about, man. But most importantly, thank you so much for just dropping by and being yourself, man. All right, guys, that's all I have for today. So, for the one and only Joe Gomez, the Plastic Sheik Jared Street, and myself, this has been Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, and we'll see y'all next time.
Don't forget.
You know, Steve McMichael, I don't think I've ever been as disappointed or let down by any one human being as much as you've let me down. You know, I followed your career from the world champion Chicago Bears, all-pro NFL career, to you here in WCW as a rookie announcer, both of us rookies for World Championship Wrestling, highlight of my life. I thought you'd befriended me. I thought there was a kindred spirit there. Both of us rookies here in this huge organization, the greatest organization. You showed me your true colors when I went to your wife's aid to defend her honor, to defend the McMichael name. And all it got me was a concussion and my partner, a trip to the hospital. Well, Steve McMichael, you really showed me your true colors. You showed me that you belong with that pack of dogs, the Horsemen, with your actions this Monday night on Nitro. And July 7th at Bash in the Beach, Steve, we're going to have an opportunity, 2 rookies, to tie it up head to head. And we're going to be able to find out who the better rookie is. Man to man, July 7th at Bash in the Beach.
With a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment in my life.
We'll see you next week. And until then, so long for now.
This has been a James Rock Street production.